What's up guys, TopTierYugioh here, and today I'm bringing you a Demise Kozmo deck profile. So the reason I'm playing Demise Kozmo is that I believe it to be the best Kozmo variant right now. I think it's better than Fire King Kozmo because it's a little more consistent. It's very hard to dead draw in this deck, and you can keep other decks from playing. And the way this deck really works is that you use all of your traps to simplify the game state and then beat your opponent because your cards are simply better than theirs. And when I say a simple game state, I mean both players having a few amount of cards. So if both players have like one card, chances are my one card is going to be better than theirs. So like Dark Destroyer. That single card is really hard for your opponent to beat without a lot of resources. Because I mean, it's 3,000 attack, can't be targeted, and it floats. And it's like that with all the ships. Or if I just have one pilot even, like Tincan by itself is going to generate me advantage by itself doing nothing. FARMGIRL by itself can search me larger monsters. And most other decks, they don't really work like that right now. Most of the other decks right now are combo decks. So we can take advantage of that by not allowing those decks to play their combos pretty much by playing so many traps. And Card of Demise is one of the only cards in the game that's just a straight up +2. And so there's no reason not to play that if we can, and it doesn't really hurt us because we can play on our opponent's turn using our pilot's quick effects. And so let's go ahead and get into the profile, and we'll start off with the monsters. So we play 3 Dark Destroyers, obviously it's one of the best cards in the deck, no surprise there. 1 Forerunner and 1 Landwalker. Both of those are really good for Kozmojo. You need to have 3 monsters at least that are level 6 or higher, and Landwalker is also really good in the zone, as is Forerunner in time. 2 Slip Riders. Slip Rider isn't an amazing standalone card because it can be targeted, but it does pop back row, which comes up a lot. 1 Dark Lady, 2 Farm Girls. A lot of decks currently don't play that many Farm Girls, but in the Card of Demise variants, I think it's better to play more because, again, you're simplifying the game state. And so Farm Girl is one of the best cards in a simple game state. It's sort of like Fire Fist Bear. Like, if you can play traps, you can just negate your opponent's summons. They have a clear field and you just attack the wreck with Farm Girl. It's pretty simple. 2 Sword Troopers, because while you do want to play in a simplified game state, I do think the Sword Trooper combos are very good, at least in game 1. I usually sided out games 2 and 3. 1 Strawman and 3 Tincan. So Tincan's really what makes the deck go. As you probably see, we play 5 traps that revive from the graveyard, so Tincan's very important for getting them in the graveyard, and you really want to see it often. 3 Card of Demise, again, it's just so powerful and we can play it, so why not? 3 Pot of Duality. Now this is a card I don't see too many decks play, but I think Pot of Duality is so important in this deck because it makes everything a lot more consistent. So normally when you have a 3 of within a 40 card deck, you're going to see it in your first 5 cards 34% of the time. But with Duality, it boosts that up to 42%. So you're seeing it 8% more. And that's huge because that means in every matchup, you're seeing your 3-ofs 8% more than they are. So you're more likely to see your Kozmojo, your Tincan, your Dark Destroyer. Like, you're more likely to see all of those cards, and that's going to help you win those matchups. And then if you notice, we play 5 counter traps and 5 revival trap cards. We're 12% more likely to see those. Like, if you're only playing 5 without Duality, you're gonna see them about slightly over 50% of the time. But with Duality, you'll see them 62% of the time. And if you're interested in the statistics and the calculations, I can show you that in the comments if you ask for it. But Duality makes you so much more likely to see anything. And it also helps you play mind games with your opponent because it reveals certain cards and you're choosing what to get, and that has a certain mental aspect of it behind it as well. 2 Emergency Teleport, and 3 Kozmo Downs. Both of those I think are pretty self-explanatory. And for the traps, 3 Kozmojos, 2 Oasis of Dragon Souls, 3 Call of the Haunted, 2 Chaos Trap Holes, 2 Solemn Strikes, and 1 Solemn Warning. So we chose this lineup because Kozmojo is one of the best traps in the game, so we definitely want to play 3 of them in the main deck. And then 5 revival traps because we want to get off our Tincan as soon as possible. And then also with Card of Demise, so if we have too many cards in our hand at the end of the turn, it discards them. So when we discard them, you want to be able to revive them with our trap cards. So you want to see those very, very often. And then as for the 5 counter traps, those are just really good for stopping your opponent's plays. Chaos Trap Hole is really good against Monarchs, Kozmo, and Burning Abyss. And so that's most of the meta right there. And Solemn Strike and Warning are also just very good. And Strike and Warning are very good for just stopping your opponent's plays so you can get those pushes with your Farm Girl and your other Kozmo monsters. And it really sets up the whole theme of the deck. For the extra deck, 1 Dante, good for cherries and also good for setting up your graveyard for the 5 revival traps. 1 Leviair, 1 Nightmare Shark, 1 Phantom Knight of Breaksword, 1 Giga Brilliant, and 1 Corbage, 1 Artifact Durandal, Pleiades, Volcasaurus, Cyber Dragon Nova, Cyber Dragon Infinity, number 38 Hope Harbinger, Lancelot. I like Lancelot just as a rank 8 that can do quick damage by attacking directly, because you don't really go into your extra deck that much, but I wanted to have a lot of utility within that, just in case the situation comes up. 1 Giant Grinder for the same thing, like sometimes it comes up. and then 1 F0. For the side deck, we have 3 Ghost Reaper Winter Cherries because we do play the Dante, and we're much more likely to see it between Card of Demise and Pot of Duality than most other decks. And that really comes up since you have an auto win in Ghost Reaper. So it's really good to side in this version. 3 Effect Veilers for both Monarchs and Pendulums. 3 System Downs for the Mirror Match. 3 Twin Twisters for Pendulums and any sort of rogue deck that plays a good amount of traps. And then 3 Mask of Restrict for Monarchs. So in those matchups, what I side in and out is as following. In Monarchs, I side out 1 Landwalker, 1 Sword Trooper, 2 Solemn Strikes, and 1 Kozmojo. I side out Landwalker because Landwalker is not going to stop my opponent from Stormforthing my monster. It's really not very ideal in that matchup. And I side out the Solemn Strikes because they can play around it with Return of the Monarchs. And then I side out Kozmojo because it's not really good in multiples, and it's not super powerful in that matchup either because once they get their engine going, it's very hard to stop by just banishing 1 card. Like once they get it going, they have like infinite access to everything. So I'm more focused on stopping their engine, and I think Mask of Restrict and Veiler do that. So I side in 3 Mask of Restrict and 2 Veiler if I'm going first, and if I'm going second, it'll be 3 Veiler and 2 Mask of Restrict. So I'm siding in and out 5 cards, and I'm playing 3 of the Mask of Restrict when going first, 3 Veilers when going second. And that's going to be the theme in a few of the matchups actually, because Veiler is so good when you're going second, whereas your traps aren't very good going second because you can't use them while your opponent's going. You don't want to let them set up their engines, and so Veiler is very good for stopping that in a lot of cases. So in the mirror match or against Kozmo, I side out the Landwalker, the Sword Trooper, and Call of the Haunted. I side out Call of the Haunted over Oasis of Dragon Souls because they probably side system down too, and I side in my 3 system downs. Against Burning Abyss or PK Fire, I side out Landwalker, Sword Trooper, and Solemn Warning. Landwalker just loses the Farfa, like it's just not that good. They're just gonna Farfa whatever they can, not destroy it. Sword Troopers makes Xyz monsters which also lose the Farfa. And then Solemn Warning is not bad in the matchup, and Solemn Strike isn't amazing either. But between the two, I think Solemn Strike can hit a few more cards because you can hit like hand traps, you can hit some of the Malabranch effects in the graveyard, so you can hit like a Farfa or an Alec or what have you, whereas Warning can only hit summons. So Strike's just a little more flexible, and I side in the 3 Ghost Reapers because again, you're going to see that very often between the dualities and the Card of Demise. I've had a lot of success with that, much more than other decks because of that. And then against Pendulums, I side out the 2 Chaos Tripoles because they don't really play too many light and darks. I side out Sword Trooper, Landwalker, and Call of the Haunted. Same reasoning behind Call of the Haunted and Landwalker and Sword Trooper. And then I side in 3 Veilers and 2 Twin Twisters when going second, and I'll side in 3 Twin Twisters and 2 Veilers if I'm going first. So I'm going first, I really want to like possibly have a Veiler in hand, but really set like a Twin Twister so I'm ready to blow up their scales on their turn. Like ideally I'll be able to blow up their scales, have a Veiler, and then maybe have like a Tincan and Dark Destroyer or Slip Rider or something, or maybe like a Solemn Strike or something like that. But the Twin Twister really puts in a lot of work against Pendulums. Alright guys, so let me know what you think in the comment section. If you have any changes or any ideas or anything that you just want to say, really, feel free to let me know in the comment section. This has been my Demise Kozmo deck profile. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.